The collapse of a corporate giant inside the Wirecard scandal. Do you know how the $25 billion blue-chip corporation cheated the German government? Wirecard, a German digital payments business, is back in the spotlight. More than 2 years after the company's demise, its CEO Markus Braun and two former executives are standing on trial. So, want to know what was going on inside the Wirecard scandal exactly? According to recent news, we have come to know what a former German lawmaker, Fabio De Masi, told to media about Wirecard CEO Markus Braun. According to him, Markus Braun was not at all a victim, but the godfather, a complex scheme to scam investors in the fintech star Wirecard. De Masi brought up the 675-page report on Wirecard that was released by Parliament last year. The report said that Braun had signed off on funds going to third-party companies, even though he was warned that he was giving away the last liquidity of Wirecard. So as we move further into the video, first, let's talk about how Wirecard works. Once upon a time, Wirecard was the face of Germany's financial technology industry. In 1999, the company started out as an online payment processor for pornographic and gambling websites. It built up a steady stream of income that helped it make it through the dot-com bust. The rise of online shopping and later mobile payments helped the company get more retail customers. Under CEO Markus Braun, who used to work as a consultant for KMPG and joined the company in 2002, the company grew very quickly, buying up smaller payment companies and moving into banking. It even started a business with China's biggest e-commerce company, Alipay, so that Chinese tourists could pay for goods and services while they were traveling outside of China. In 2005, Wirecard went public on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. 13 years later, it pushed Commerzbank out of the DAX index, which is made up of the best companies. At the company's peak, it was worth more than 24 billion euros, or about $25 billion, which is more than Deutsche Bank. So then, what happened to Wirecard? In 2016, the U.S. financial research firm Zatara wrote a bad report about Wirecard that said the company was involved in fraud. It said that top executives had laundered money and cheated Visa and MasterCard out of money. 3 years later, a Financial Times reporter named Dan McCrum wrote a series of articles about the scandal, saying that Wirecard's Asian units had messed up their books. By June 2020, the company told its auditor, EY, that it was likely that 1.9 billion euros in cash that was supposed to be in two accounts in the Philippines didn't exist. Wirecard's share price dropped by 99%, and it was the first DAX company to file for bankruptcy, owing nearly 4 billion euros to its creditors. An investigation by the Financial Times found that about half of Wirecard's reported revenues and a big chunk of its profits came from third-party acquirers. TPAs are businesses that process payments for Wirecard when they didn't have their own license to do so. But a family home in the Philippines was found by following the address of one of these companies. Another was a bus company in Manila. Auditor for Wirecard, EY, which signed off on the company's books for 10 years, also got a lot of bad press and is now being sued by Wirecard shareholders. EY says it did the right thing. The government of then-Chancellor Angela Merkel briefly thought about saving the company, and Olaf Scholz, who is now Chancellor, was criticized for not doing a good job of keeping an eye on the company at the time. Scholz told a committee of Parliament that most of the fraud happened before he was in office. The scandal also showed that Germany's market regulator, BaFin, had not only missed the fraud despite the suspicions of investigative journalists and financial market analysts, but had instead filed criminal charges against two FT journalists for market manipulation, which were later dropped. De Masi told that the government's response to the bad news was scandalous because the public prosecutor banned short sales of Wirecard shares on the basis of a crazy conspiracy theory that Bloomberg was trying to blackmail Wirecard. The scandal was so embarrassing that both the head of BaFin and the head of Germany's accounting watchdog had to resign. It also led to a Netflix documentary, which McCrum told in his book. Volker Brühl, a professor for the Center for Financial Studies in Frankfurt, told Agence France Presse that many people didn't want to believe that fraudsters were working at Wirecard. And now the question comes, what does the case have to do with? Braun and two other high-level Wirecard managers will go on trial in Munich on Thursday. They are accused of making up transactions between a complex web of subsidiaries and partner companies to boost earnings. Oliver Bellenhaus, who used to run Wirecard's Dubai branch, and Stefan von Erfa, who used to be an executive, are also being charged. Prosecutors will say that the three gave wrong financial results for the years 2015 through 2018 because they included income from TPA companies in Dubai, the Philippines, and Singapore that didn't really exist. If found guilty of fraud, market manipulation, and other charges, the three men could spend up to 15 years in prison. Braun has been in jail since the summer of 2020. He denies doing anything wrong and says that other people have been running a secret operation without his knowledge. The prosecution says that Wirecard's managers made up huge amounts of fake income to trick investors and creditors. After hundreds of interviews, dozens of property searches, and going through 42 terabytes of data, prosecutors have written a 474-page indictment. Authorities from Switzerland, Singapore, Austria, the Philippines, Britain, and Russia, among others, all took part. While, according to Damasi, he said, in his opinion, Wirecard was a big money laundering business with close ties to organized crime and secret services. The third-party companies were not just fronts for fake transactions, they also took on Wirecard's legal risks by recycling dirty money. One of the suspects is still on the loose. Braun has said that former Chief Operating Officer Jan Marsalek was the mastermind behind the fraud at Wirecard. Without his testimony, the case will not be over. Marsalek disappeared when the scandal broke. He said he was going to China via the Philippines, but he was really taking a private jet to Moscow via Belarus. He is still on the list of people wanted by Europol, and it is thought that he is living under a new name in Moscow, protected by the Kremlin. A former Austrian intelligence officer and a far-right politician helped him disappear. Marsalek is still a mystery, even though he has connections to Russian intelligence agencies and once tried to put together a Libyan militia. So now let's know what is currently going on with the trial of Braun. Markus Braun, the former CEO of Wirecard, took the stand for the first time in his trial on February 13th. He denied all the charges against him and said he knew nothing about the huge accounting fraud that brought down the German payments company. Braun told the judges presiding over his trial in Munich, "I reject all of the charges." In June 2020, the once revered corporation went bankrupt when it was compelled to disclose that 1.9 billion euros in cash that was supposed to be resting in trustee accounts in Asia did not actually exist. Besides Braun, who was born in Austria, the other defendants in this case are Stefan von Erfa, the former head of accounting at Wirecard, and Oliver Bellenhaus, the former head of Wirecard's subsidiary in Dubai. In December, their high-profile trial began, and the prosecutors are saying that the three defendants made up income streams with third-party companies in order to inflate Wirecard's accounts and make the money-losing company appear to be profitable. Braun, who has been detained for more than 2 years at this point, has always denied any wrongdoing. Instead, his defense team has portrayed the now-at-large former Chief Operating Officer Jan Marsalek as the scheme's architect. The trial on February 13th was Braun's first opportunity to address the court in detail, and during that appearance he stated that he had no awareness of any illegal activity at Wirecard. He continued by saying, "Nor did I get together with other people to form a gang." According to Braun, the failure of Wirecard came as a shock, and he expressed his deepest grief for the company's employees and shareholders. When he took the stand in December, Braun's co-accused, Bellenhaus, who has admitted to committing fraud and is now serving as the primary witness for the prosecution, presented a different account of the events that transpired. According to Bellenhaus's testimony before the judges, Wirecard was a swindle from the very beginning, and Braun was at the core of everything. Bellenhaus's evidence has been called into question by the defense attorneys representing Braun, who have argued that Bellenhaus was not a witness but rather a prominent criminal in a group whose entire objective was to swindle money. The failure of Wirecard caused shockwaves to spread throughout Germany, which harmed the country's reputation as a center for financial activity and prompted a redesign of the market regulator, BaFin. The trial is set to last until 2024 or later, so let's see what happens. That brings us to the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and press the bell icon for more updates on finance.